Welcome to another edition of the Voice of Palestine, Voice of the Palestinian People. It's February 2nd, 2014, and I'm your co-host, Hanna Qawas. This week we are interviewing Diana Alzeer, a spokesperson for the Palestinian Popular Struggle Coordination Committee. We will talk with her about the work of the committee and their recent Melh Al-ard, Salt of the Earth campaign to revive Ein Hijleh Village in the Jordan Valley, as well as the popular resistance in Palestine in general. Good evening to you, Diana, and welcome to the Voice of Palestine.
Thank you. Good evening to you and to all the listeners.
You know, to start with, could you give us some overview? What motivates you to do such support work? I believe you are Palestinian, but not many Palestinians, especially here in the West, are very active in the support work. So what motivates you, basically? And could you tell us some background about yourself?
Well, my name is Diana Alzeer, and I'm the media coordinator for the Popular Struggle Coordination Committee. What motivates me personally is the suffering and the struggle of my people. What I do politically is basically to support the Palestinians and their right to exist on their land and to liberate their land and their individual freedom as well.
Yeah.
I started my activism in around 2007 when I started going to the weekly protests in Belh. And in 2009, 2011, actually to be exact, I started going to Nabi Saleh protests. And ever since then, I haven't stopped, I guess.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what motivates me, the struggle of my people, and their demand to their rights, and the freedom of their land.
Yeah. Could you tell us a bit maybe about Belh is still going, it's a weekly basis, and also a bit about Bani Saleh, and where it's located, both of them, just for our listeners to know. I know Belh is closer to Ramallah, is it?
Yeah, actually both of them are. Belh and Nabi Saleh are in Ramallah district. Belh started in around, I believe it was 2003. And basically the Israeli apartheid wall was starting to get built on the land of Belh, confiscating a lot of the farming land belonging to the village. And that's when the people of Belh decided to take an action against the apartheid wall and protest. And their protests have came out to be an amazing, creative form of resistance. I'm not quite sure if you have seen the photos of them mimicking, for example, the movie Avatar. They would dress like characters from the movie and have their protest, or have a marching band marching in the protest. Sometimes you'd see them playing football and throwing the actual footballs towards the soldiers. So it's actually quite interesting to overview and look at the popular struggle in Belh. Nabi Saleh started in 2009. And it's quite different because the people of Nabi Saleh are mainly protesting the occupation and the settlements. Nabi Saleh is also located next to Ramallah. And there's a water spring that belongs to the village. It's actually the main water source of the village. And it's been confiscated by the settlers in Halamish settlement. So the people basically started protesting, demanding access to their lands and their water spring. Obviously, the Israeli army and Israeli forces have oppressed these protests tremendously, which led to the growing of this struggle in the village and other regions as well.
Yeah.
But what's the difference between Bilain and Nabi Saleh is that Bilain is concentrated on the apartheid wall, and Nabi Saleh is against the occupation in general and the settlements in specific.
Yeah, although in Bilain there was even, which is unusual for the Supreme Court to take, to be a bit fair, in spite of the ruling, the apartheid wall and the confiscation of land continue in Bilain, isn't it?
That's true. Well, the confiscation, the court ruled in favor of Bilain, but only returning half of the land and not all of it. But when we talk about the occupation, it's an ongoing process. We believe that this is a land that belongs to the Palestinians. And when we talk about the Palestinian struggle, we don't really only talk about the Palestinians who live in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. There's the ultimate struggle of the Palestinian people, which is the struggle of the Palestinian refugees to return to their land. And this is an ongoing realization amongst us youth living in Palestine, that our struggle is not only against the settlements and the Israeli occupation existing in its form that we see today, but the huge problem is in what happened in 1948 and the expulsion that happened to the Palestinian people and the complete destruction of a whole society, of a whole culture and a whole country at that point.
Yeah, what Israeli Beit Halahmi calls it the original sin, I believe. He has a book about it called The Original Sin. Bilain came to attention, here in the West in general, especially after the 5 broken cameras and the nomination for the Oscar, I believe.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's not really the case with Bani Saleh, although some blogs talk about it, like Dr. Mazen Komsiye sometimes puts on his blogs about it. What's needed really for us here in the West to try to publicize the most, not just Bilain, but all the popular struggle in Palestine?
Well, I think our audience, especially when we talk about the popular struggle and the youth activism that is taking place at this point, especially the independent youth activism that is not linked to any political parties or any groups that have existed in the past. This is a new generation that uses social media, and we're quite good at it. And if you recall, at the time of the hunger strikes, when Khadr Adnan went on a hunger strike for over 70 days, we managed to trend his name and the campaign on Twitter for more than 7 times. And this is just amazing to see all the Palestinians from all around the world getting together using social media to advertise and talk about and campaign for the Palestinian struggle and the Palestinians' rights. And this is what's different about the youth activism in Palestine at this point, using social media. And you've mentioned Bilain being publicized through 5 booking cameras. I believe Nabi Saleh actually made a quite good campaign last year and 2 years ago. We used to go and live stream from the actual protest and tweet from the location. So you'd see activists on the ground tweeting live news from the protest, which puts a lot of pressure on the mainstream media to cover these stories and the stories of these people and their suffering. And this is quite different from what we used to see in the past. Basically,
the social media is forcing the corporate media to take notice, right?
True.
Yeah, and the idea of really building or protesting by erecting and reviving the Palestinian villages and towns is not new really to Ein Hijleh. It started with Bab al-Shams, right? I'm sure you could tell us a bit about it.
Yes, of course. It started with Bab al-Shams, and Bab al-Shams was about almost a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there was Ahfad Yunus and Malatir and several other locations.
Yeah.
What's different about this specific campaign, Melh Al-ard, Salt of the Earth, and the reviving of Ein Hijleh Village, is that it's concentrating the attention on putting the attention and the focus on the Jordan Valley.
Mm-hmm.
The Jordan Valley is under a threat of annexation to the State of Israel, but also since the negotiations are basically leading nowhere, and most importantly, that any outcome that will come out from these negotiations that doesn't necessarily represent us as Palestinian youth or independent activists, but it actually aims at creating a state that is completely disfigured, that completely ignores the Palestinians' rights of access to their land and their basic rights. Their basic human rights as individual human beings. And so this campaign is taking place in the Jordan Valley, which is located in the so-called Area C, according to the Oslo Agreement. The village is basically based or located on a land that belongs to the Orthodox Church and a monastery that is 5 minutes away from here, the Hijleh monastery. The village has a water spring called Hijleh, and accordingly we decided to name the village Ein Hijleh. This place used to be an old Canaanite village, and there used to be a church here. This village was evacuated after 1967 war, and now what's basically motivating us to do such an action is that since the negotiations are going nowhere, Kerry's plan, led by the Americans, basically is completely ignoring the Palestinians' rights, and with all the settlement expansion, with all the land confiscation of water, natural resources, all of this is taking place in the Jordan Valley. Actually, personally speaking, I see what's happening in the Jordan Valley as a complete ethnic cleansing. It's a daily process of ethnic cleansing. People have no access to their water. People have no access to their land. They're not allowed to build houses. Their houses are constantly being demolished. This is just inhumane.
And
since the Palestinians officials are basically doing nothing about it, we, the Palestinians, decided to do something about it. We decided to take a stand and say, come on, this is not going anywhere. We're going to take our rights with our own hands. So we came here. Enough is enough, exactly. We decided to come here, revive the village, rebuild the houses, plant more trees. The area has a lot of palm trees. So we're fixing that. We're going to water the trees, plant more trees, and just maintain the existence of Palestinians in the Jordan Valley.
So the Kerry
and if there's something...
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the Kerry plan, the recent Kerry plan, is basically asking the Palestinian to give up the Jordan Valley and allow Israel to keep presence even in a so-called future Palestinian state, which is really ridiculous, and they basically
basically it's going to be a state without control over earth, of the air, without control of borders. It's basically a complete disfigured state. That there is no need for a state that looks like that.
Surrounded by by the Israeli army and by an apartheid wall, because do you know if they start building the apartheid wall or in the Jordan Valley or not? Because they're
building the wall on between the West Bank and Jordan.
Yeah, so they basically
Jordan as well.
They want to surround the whole Palestinian state with a wall, basically, and they're going to take care. They'll have military presence around it, which is ridiculous. I don't know why they continue. These leaders, so-called leaders, continue with their negotiations. Isn't that?
That's true, and I mean, it's just completely insane, and this is why we decided to have an action that is completely against all negotiations that are taking place, completely against Kerry's plan, against the Israeli policies in the Jordan Valley and all over Palestine. Our message is quite clear. We Palestinians come from everywhere.
Yeah.
There's Palestinians who are from 1948. There's Palestinians from Jerusalem, Nablus, Jenin, Hebron, Bethlehem.
Yeah.
These people are from popular committees from all over historical Palestine.
Yes.
And they've come here demanding one thing. We demand our rights as individuals, and we demand our rights existing on this land.
Yeah, and I think it's important what you said earlier, that we shouldn't be affiliated to any of the tribes that existed so far, the political groups or parties or so-called resistance organizations, because they basically dropped the ball, and the 20 years of negotiations led to more ethnic cleansing, led to more confiscation of land, led to more settlement building on our land. So obviously they failed, but they don't want to admit it. And this is the tragedy of us as Palestinians, that our so-called leadership don't want to admit that they failed over the past 20 years, and what they're doing really is serving the interest of our enemies.
That's true.
Okay.
Completely true.
Yeah, so I think again it's good that to have independent-minded people, and our loyalty should be to Palestine, not for our tribes, whether they are political or literal tribes, or religious or anything like that. So we salute you really, and we think it's the way to go, because the old tribal loyalties led us where we are now, and we should go from here as a united people with united aims. Could you tell us a bit more the details about the campaign? And I hear there is almost 250, 300 people now in Ein Hijleh. Could you describe what they are doing and what the Israeli reaction, the Israeli military occupation reaction to it?
Well, so far the campaign or the revival of the village has been a complete success. The first day we arrived, there was several checkpoints along the way. Each bus that came from any location at least had to go through 2 checkpoints. We've made it to the village on the 31st, January 31st. We were about 500 people. From all over Palestine, as I've mentioned earlier. We've been basically reviving the village in all means, working on the land, working on the trees, fixing the houses, renovating the area, the old houses, but also there's a lot of cultural activities that are taking place. We've gathered Palestinians from all over, and they're sitting together, singing, talking, discussing politics. A while ago, we were screening Ein Hijleh, which is another Palestinian movie that is nominated for Oscar this year.
Yeah.
So this is what we're basically doing. At this point. But this activity is part of a larger campaign called Melh Al-ard. And in Melh Al-ard, other actions will follow, which I cannot talk about right now. But I'm sure in the near future you'll be able to hear about them. Good. Our aim is to give an example to other people in Palestine. This is just a small initiative, and similar initiatives should be taking place all over Palestine. Anybody who has a right, go and demand for it. Obviously, the leadership is not going to give it to you.
No.
Go and demand that right. Take it with your own hands. The Israeli reaction to this activity is quite weird, to be honest. Yesterday, we thought that they were going to evict us. There was a lot of jeeps and a lot of military vehicles on the main road. This because the village is basically located next to the so-called Route 90, and it's a road that links the Dead Sea to the northern parts of historical Palestine. So it's quite an active road that is being used by settlers. Behind the land where we're located is a land confiscated by settlers and is being used for agricultural reasons. But also between the village and the monastery, there's a military base that is also, that has been confiscated for the so-called security reasons. Yesterday, as I said, we thought that we were going to be evicted. The military jeeps came, and they were driving around the whole village night and day. Between 9 p.m. till 12 p.m., their existence was quite huge in terms of the number of the vehicles. And we actually thought that we are going to be evicted, but for some reason they have not. I believe it's basically because this land is church property, so they need a court order in order for them to evict us. Now, they might be using a different tactic, which is basically let these, group of Palestinians do whatever they want. They obviously want some action, so we're not going to give them that action they want. Let them do whatever they want. Eventually, they'll get tired and leave. But apart from that, we are actually under siege because none of the vehicles that carry food or water is allowed into the village. We've been sneaking in water and food. A lot of the press has not been allowed in. They had to drive from different routes to make it to the village as well. But we'll see. I mean, the coming few days will tell us if they will try to kick us out or not. But either way, we're here to stay and we're here to exist. That's our message.
And also, I think it's really a major task what you're doing. I'm sure you're gonna need all the help you can. Is there a way that people here can donate for the campaign, online or send whatever checks or whatever or money orders? Because or you think you could sustain yourself? I
mean, we're surviving. We're surviving on a lot of help from the locals. Many people from different cities are coming and bringing us water and food supplies. Even the medical team today brought water that was confiscated by the soldiers, so we had to go have a little protest and a little show with the soldiers and get our water back, reclaim the water back.
Good.
But I think if there's anything for the international solidarity groups to help us with, is that spread out the news that we're sending. We're using mainly the Popular Struggle Coordination Committee page. We're uploading a lot of photos and news on it. But we have a lot of live news coming out from Twitter users who are in the village at this point. So you can follow them. Follow hashtag Ein Hijleh, and you'll get the news live from here. But mainly, and it's basically the demand or what was asked the solidarity groups to help with in our main statement released on the first day we came to the village, is that this is the Jordan Valley and it's completely ignored on the international level. regarding all the land confiscation and the confiscation of natural resources. This is a very fertile piece of land, and it's very important to Israel. Israel has a lot of agricultural factories that are functioning in the region. All the cosmetics that are based on minerals taken from the Dead Sea are taken from this area. Excuse me. But also all the fruits and vegetables that are exported to the Western world are also made and produced on this land, in the Jordan Valley specifically. So if there's anything for us to ask the international community to do, is to boycott completely all the Israeli factories and products that are being exported into Europe or elsewhere in the world. And specifically those that work in the Jordan Valley. For example, there's Premier and Ahava. These two are like cosmetic companies. There's Haddock Lime, a major company that exports fruits and vegetables. There's several other companies. If you go on the website, if you go onto BDS movement website, you'll see a list of the companies that work in the Jordan Valley. But also there's Cool Profits. Also has a list of all the companies working in the Jordan Valley. So if you boycott these, if you have campaigns that are similar to the campaigns led by the BDS movement, we would highly appreciate it. But I don't think we need any financial support at this point. This is a grassroots movement, and I think it should stay this way. We cannot completely depend on international funding and all of that kind of stuff. We should survive on our own and maintain the struggle. And if there's anything for the international community to do, it's to listen to what the Palestinians have to say about their rights and their demands. And just follow their campaigns. And you mentioned the page on Facebook, isn't it? The page you mentioned, it's on Facebook. For the news? For the committee. It's the Popular Struggle Coordination Committee. I've seen it, but for people who have Facebook, maybe they could join it and put like on it and follow up on what's happening, because you said also the news from Ein Hijleh is on it, updated news, isn't it? All the news about all the popular committees, basically, but mainly right now, because this is a major event taking place within the popular struggle, is the Ein Hijleh. So all the news from Ein Hijleh are there put on the page, or they're being tweeted live from individual activists who are here in the village. On Twitter, you mean? Okay, good. And it's Ein Hijleh, hashtag Ein Hijleh, one word, Ein Hijleh, EIN. Hijleh, Ein Hijleh, for people who want to follow up on that. And also, could you tell us, do you have a website also people can reach you, or it's not really as updated as the other, the Facebook? We have a website. We have a website, but because this campaign is not only it's not only organized or led by the Popular Struggle Coordination Committee. We don't want to link it to the website. Because there's other committees that exist that are not part of the PSCC. And there's also a lot of individual activists who do not belong to any committees and who are just coming from Ramallah or any other place. So I think the page on Twitter is enough for people to get in touch with us. Good, the best source of information. Okay, and could you update us what's happening now? I guess it's night there now in Palestine. The people are still there, and they basically trying to survive, although there is a blockade. You said food and there's a siege around us. We're here. today, there's like around 150 to 200 people, because it's an evening time and it's a quiet evening today. Not a lot of soldiers are like in the area, or we don't see them at least. We're just sitting around the fire. Each house has its own fire in front, and people are sitting outside singing national songs and discussing politics, and that's what's happening at this point. During the day, as I said, we were planting trees and working on the houses and the land.
So you are actually with them in Ein Hijleh now?
Yeah, I am. Would you like to hear some noise? I mean, I can walk to one of the fires and like ask them to like sing a song or something.
Sure. If they can send greetings to our listeners, that'll be great. Sure, that'll be good.
Well, I'll just go stand next to a group that is singing, so you can hear a bit of noise.
Sure,
We don't have electricity, so you'll hear a weird noise because we've got like an electricity generator. So it's going to be a bit annoying now that because I'm passing next to it.
So.
But we've got other people as well. We've got a lot of a lot of media here. And they've been actually amazing. The Palestinian media, like the Palestinian journalists, are here night and day with us. They're even like spending the night here. And also the medical teams are constantly with us for any emergencies.
They're ready for any emergency.
Now they have music playing from a car. And a lot of people sitting around the fire clapping and singing.
Oh, good.
You hear it? Yeah. I'll walk away from the noise a bit.
Okay. That's good. It's good to see that it's going live with the good spirit, because you need really
we need it.
The moral.
We definitely need it.
And you need the moral support also from all over the world, which we hope is coming, because I'm sure it's really an important campaign. It's not just to draw attention to the occupation, because supposedly Area C was a temporary area in the Oslo Accord, but it became permanent. And when they signed the Oslo, I'm not sure if you were aware of it, they were saying Gaza and Jericho first. Some people said, Gaza and Jericho first and last, So it seems that was true, because that's all they wanted, to give just the cities.
Not even that. Not even that.
Even that. They enter anytime they want, and they control who can get in and who get out. Which is really ridiculous. This Oslo process was really a sham, and is really.
It's a shame. It took us back so many years. It just completely destroyed all what the Palestinians have done, in the past.
It is a fraud. It's an Israeli fraud to stop our resistance in the first Intifada, which is, I think people are realizing that now, because it's set up the Palestinian struggle at least 20 years back. But it's good to see you are going on, and we salute you, as I said. And do you have a final message to our listeners? Because I think it's important really that concrete actions here could be done by really supporting totally the BDS movement with its three objectives, equality inside Israel, right of return, and end of the occupation. So it's important that people here, and they could do that here. I mean, boycotting Israeli products is something easy, and the movement is growing, and the victories are growing also. Could you please, from a call from Palestine to our supporters all over the world?
My final word would be that the Palestinian struggle was never really about a state or borders. Our struggle is about rights and about existence. So whether it's negotiations, whether it's one state, whether it's two states, all of this doesn't matter. As long as we achieve our right to live on this land. On top of that is the right of return. I always like to emphasize on this because the majority of the Palestinian people are refugees who are suffering in the Yarmouk camp. They're dying out of hunger. In other places, they're being killed. So that is the main struggle for me and for all of us, the struggle of the Palestinian refugees. These people need to return to their land. If these people do not return, we've achieved nothing.
And it's worth noting also even people from the West Bank are not allowed to return. Like in the case of myself, I'm from Bethlehem, and I'm not allowed to return, live and die in my hometown. So this is another proof of the so-called failed process, although that doesn't mean that we're going to forget about the right of return for people from 48. No, it's an essential part of our struggle. So we thank you really, Diana, for all the work you are doing, and keep up the good work, and it's truly a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you very much for your interest in the campaign and all of this. Thank you for your call. And I do hope we maintain our existence in the village and you hear some good news. Thanks,
and take care of yourself and of the people around you. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thanks.
And that was Hannah Kawas speaking with Diana Alzeer, live from the Ein Hijleh Village in the occupied Jordan Valley, about the campaign going on there. And with that, we conclude another edition of the Voice of Palestine. I've been your co-host, Marian Kawas, and our final piece of music is by Jewish-American singer David Rovics, The Children of Jerusalem. We dedicate it to the people carrying on the struggle in Palestine, and we conclude with a statement from, a part of the statement from the people in Ein Hijleh, and they said, "Daughters and sons of Palestine, be the salt of this earth and stay steadfast on it."
Did you see them praying? Watch the army marching in. As they clubbed old women, did you see the general grin? Watch the stones fly and the snipers taking aim. On Shatila's birthday, it's a calculated game, and they're gunning down the children of Jerusalem. Did you hear him screaming? Watch the horror on his face as he hid for cover in a tiny unprotected space. Did you hear his father pleading? There is a child here trying to protect his son, who yelled in horror and in fear that they're gunning down the children of Jerusalem. Did you feel the wind blow from the helicopter blades? Did you smell the tear gas, see the demolition rays? Did you see the rockets and the dum-dum bullets fly? Did you feel the horror to watch one more young boy die as they're gunning down the children of Jerusalem? Did you see the roadblocks letting nobody go past? Watch the blood flow as time is running fast. See someone's brother taking his last breath, so close to the hospital, but closer still to death. And they're gunning down the children of Jerusalem. hear the fat cat say it's not what it appears? It's an armed uprising, a realization of our fears. Do you hear them chanting that this is their homeland? They want what's ours, and we've got to make a stand. So we're gunning down the children of Jerusalem. Some want power, and it seems the world's theirs to give. Some just want peace and a decent place to live. Some talk of destiny and what their God has willed, while a mother weeps that her 9-year-old's been killed. And they're gunning down the children of Jerusalem. They're gunning down the children of Jerusalem. They're gunning down the children of Jerusalem. They're gunning down the children of Jerusalem.